welcome to another episode of Wisdom on the Front Porch. And our front porch right now is this Zoom call here with Sifu. And I thank you so much for being here because this is a special show. This is one of our columnists for the e-magazine and the print magazine, Wisdom on the Front Porch. Thank you, Sifu, for being here.
It's an absolute pleasure. Thank you, Ellis, for having me.
I just enjoy you so much, and I was thrilled when you said you would be a regular columnist for the magazine. And I want to ask you about that. Can you tell our viewers, our listeners, what do you think Wisdom on the Front Porch is all about?
If you are interested in knowing what others know, if you're interested in getting advice from someone who's been there, that's what Wisdom on the front porch is. I love talking to old timers. Their stories are fascinating and they teach me so much that sometimes a story really, pardon that, a
It's
story
okay.
really,
That was
really,
a good effect.
a story really can be recaptured because you're sharing it with a different audience.
Yes.
So don't stop telling your story. Just
Yeah,
tell it to a different audience, and then your story will have life all its own.
it does. It really does. I love that you said that. Um, so when our subscribers read the e-magazine or the print magazine and they see Sifu's article, what do you think makes them say, all right, a new article from Sifu?
It's very interesting, and even though you say it's a new article from Sifu, it's not really mine. It's all the tips, all the ideas, all the conversations I've had, and they all poured into me. And if I keep it, then I can't share it. And so for me, I ask every day when I do my prayers and gratitude and thank God for the gifts He's given me, the people He's connected me with. I ask for guidance and how I can share those gifts with the world, with my brothers and sisters, if you
That's awesome. I love that. Yeah, I'll be your sister, you bet.
will. You are my sister.
So why did you choose to be a columnist? Why did you say yes?
because
Besides the obvious of what you just said.
because you're doing something, and you're doing basically what I believe in. It's not about you. And
Mhm.
that's why you're there to impact others. And it was a no-brainer for me to say, absolutely, I'll be on it. It's a great mission that you have. And I'm just thrilled that you even thought of me to even ask
Oh,
me.
absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, you definitely are my brother. So when our readers look at the whether it's e or print magazine, what do you want them to get out of it?
Nuggets, nuggets that they did not even expect. It's not just from
Yes.
me, it's from everybody, every contributor, everybody who thought deep down, how can I help? I
Mhm.
think that's what really, and I think this is why I love the magazine. This is why I love what you're doing, because it's about engaging others to think of things maybe in a way they never thought of it. Or
Yeah.
maybe to listen to the same message and finally take action.
Yeah, because sometimes you can hear the message again and again,
Mhm.
but then somebody says it just a little differently. And it's like, aha,
Mm.
excuse me. I went outside for a walk and now it's getting to me. That's okay. We'll get through it. Excuse me. As entrepreneurs, we can learn from other entrepreneurs, which is what I love about this. That was my vision because the magazine is on entrepreneur culture, it's on the lifestyle, because a lot of us work from home. We want a lifestyle that isn't just going to work, making the money, coming home, going to sleep, repeat the next day and the next day. And um, why do you think it's important for entrepreneurs to learn from other entrepreneurs?
Why does an entrepreneur seek advice? When you think you know it all, you know very little. Look at Steve
Yes.
Jobs. Do you think he actually created the iPhone? Do you think he actually created the iPod? That was his first baby, if you will. He did not. If we had only him, we would have no iPhone today. But he brought great minds together to put this concept together. Any great achievement in life, I mean, grand achievements, have been made possible through the work of many, not one.
Mm. Yeah, that is so true. So true. A lot of times as entrepreneurs, we feel like we're going this alone and we're going this alone, and we're not. I couldn't have my podcast without you. It wouldn't be any good to have the podcast without the listeners or the viewers. Um, we all make everything better. On my walk, um, I was doing a little video for my other podcast, 12-minute refresh, and I talked about the trees that are there, how everything is cooperating together. The tree is not just being a tree. It is providing shade. It is providing oxygen for us. It's taking the carbon dioxide out. Um, it's dropping its leaves so it nourishes the soil in the fall. So it doesn't matter if grasshoppers or other insects are chewing up its leaves during the summer and the fall, because it's going to get new ones in the spring.
Mhm.
It gets us rest in the winter. We have dead tree. Does the dead tree have no value? It does. It provides a lookout point for so many birds. It gives them a resting place. We have birds that actually sit in the dead tree in the shade of another branch or in the shade of the trunk so they can refresh during the day. You have the little animals that go around it and run up and down and chase each other. It's a playground too. And there's so many uses for it. I actually saw where the bark had kind of starting to come off, and their spider had left its egg sac to be protected during the winter. So its babies can hatch in the spring. I know, creeps out people, but such is life. Spiders catch a lot of bugs, a lot of insects that would bug us. So, it has its place. And I love that. So, I want to know what makes you an expert and how did you get started? I have three questions. We'll do one. What makes you an expert? How did you get started? And how have you grown you and your business during the process?
Okay, first let's clarify one thing. I'm not an expert. Some people see me that way. I'm a facilitator. I help people see their worth. I see them see how beautiful they are.
Hmm.
I help and guide them. But as an expert, I'm far from it. I hope I never become an expert because there's always more to learn.
Yeah.
So for me, it's about how can I help? That's how I bring
Yeah.
value to something. I got started because I saw a need.
Hmm.
And it wasn't when you're looking only inward, when you only see the reflection in the mirror and you can only see yourself, that's great. And you should do that every day. You should look in the mirror and say, I am beautiful. I am divine. I am God's gift. But then you have to refocus and see that that mirror was not made by you. It was made by someone else. So you can see your reflection. So when we can see that this is not just about me, it's about others. So that's how we can help. And when I realized that I had the ability to help other people, that's what drew me to do what I do. When I was young, I used to help people without them asking. Sometimes not in a negative way where people didn't want your help and you helped them anyway, but where I saw somebody needed help, yet they were afraid to ask. They didn't know
Yeah.
how to ask. And I offered, I didn't shove it down their throat, if you will. I asked, can I help with that? Let me help you. And when we can do that for another human being, then we are doing God's work. So everything that I do is based on how can I help? And if it means me holding the mirror up for you, maybe even cleaning the mirror because the mirror you've been looking at is dirty and you don't see how beautiful you are. It's me cleaning the mirror and then putting it up so you can see the mirror. Look here. Look how beautiful you are. Look how exceptional you are. Then that's why I do what I do. You had a third question.
You raised your hand and your little hand emoji came up.
There you go. See
I
that?
have a question.
Oh, look at that. See?
Yeah,
Let me
that's
see if I
fun.
can lower that hand.
Okay, so while you're lowering it, the third question was, how have you grown yourself and your business during this whole process from the beginning, the idea that you had and deciding to make a business out of it to today?
Sure. It's realizing my gifts, right? And sharing them every day. Uh, it doesn't. I don't use an alarm. I'm woken up by God because He wakes me up and says, "Okay, let's go." Like I'm listening. I'm here. Then I go into gratitude, all the things that I'm grateful for, my lungs, my eyes, every aspect of my body, the people in my lives, my family, every one of those people have shaped me into who I am today. So how have I grown my business because of it is because there's a need for the gifts I have been given. And the more I can give, the more I can grow personally. But the more I give, the more my business grows. So I realized that in this world, we have givers and we have takers. And then we have those who sit on the fence and they see which side they want to be on today. I realized that that doesn't serve me to be a taker and just take things and be ungrateful and just take and take and take has not served me. It hasn't served me when I was a child and it's not going to serve me today. And so understanding that in order for me to be fulfilled, I need to give. I need to give. And when people reward me for the gifts I've given them, sometimes way more than I've ever given them. When I was younger, I used to go, no, no, thank you, no, no. But I realized that I'm not helping them if I refuse their gifts to me. So now I openly accept the gifts that are being given to me. Because if it's an abundant gift, that means that I can take my portion and give the other portion to others
Yeah,
who may need it. So that's how it's helped me in my personal and my business life.
yeah, that was a tough one for me as a kid, is is giving rewards for what I was doing because I was always taught, don't take things when you're giving from yourself.
Mm,
But then I realized I was depriving them of the beauty of giving to somebody else to show their gratefulness and their thankfulness. And once I did that, it was easier to do it. It took me a while,
mm,
but then I realized I was giving them a gift at the same time, the gift of giving. And we love to give gifts, we love to receive them. But what if the gifts we gave nobody would take? Oh no, I don't need it. I think we'd kind of be hurt a little bit, huh?
mhm, mhm.
Yeah, yeah. Wow.
In some cultures, when you enter their home and they offer you food, you may be full, but if you refuse the food, it is disrespect.
Oh, wow.
So if you walk into somebody's home and they offer you food, that's telling you two things. They want to serve and they value your company. When you
Wow.
refuse it, you're also refusing their gift. You're being selfish. And instead of saying, "Oh no, I'm full," say, "I just ate. I would love to taste that. Can I have a little taste?"
Oh, nice.
So instead of refusing it, you still take it, right? And I think
Yeah.
that's an incredible thing that certain cultures will do that. And then there's other people. You walk into the house, they never offer you a thing, not even water.
Yep. I did that not too long ago. I was so excited to see my friend. She got here and we just talked and talked and talked. And then she left and I realized I did not offer her anything.
Mm,
It was just like, no, I take that back. I think I did offer her coffee, but
there
that
you go.
was it. And it's like, wow, has it really been that long since I've had anybody come to my home? I do not know how to be hospitable. It was an awakening. Um, she's still my friend, so it was okay.
There you go. In the show The Big Bang Theory,
Right.
one of the my favorite things is when Sheldon turns around and he goes, when somebody's upset, he goes, "I've been taught right," and he goes, "Give them a hot beverage."
Yep.
It calms them. It makes them so they can talk better. And so when we bring someone into our home, it's because we want them there. Now, if you bring somebody
Yes.
into your home and you don't want them there, then meet them in the driveway.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I mean, I grew up, our homes were pretty much always open. My aunt and uncle, I don't know if they would do it now. In fact, I know that a few years ago they weren't able to do it any longer, but they never locked their doors. They thought if there's and they kind of lived in the country, but it was still, a main road went out to a state park. And they thought, well, if somebody needs to come in and get a drink of water or rest from the day, or if their vehicle's broken down, they didn't want them to be without. They wanted them to be able to do something like that. And unfortunately, after there was a couple of famous movies that were made, right around their area, and after that, there got to be so many people, and then people coming and breaking into homes and homes. I mean, nobody in the area ever locked their doors, and now they started to having to do that. And
It's a
it's
shame,
really
isn't
too
it?
bad, yeah, that you can't have that hospitality to offer people. And they really felt bad. It's like we never had to lock our doors before. Now
Right.
we do. And what about the people who really do need, to come in and be rested or whatever it is? And yeah, so we're learning to give no matter how it is that we give.
Mm.
And I so do you have any other thoughts for people for the magazine and what they can expect and why they would even want to pick it up and such.
Well, when you consider your time, right? We can never get our time back, whether it's a magazine, a book, or anything that you do. Your time is valuable. So when you pick up the magazine on the front porch, consider, don't just read it, take notes,
Mm.
take notes. Make the most use of your time when you pick up the magazine, when you're reading it, when you're looking at it, when you are reading it. Think of a couple of things. Is it speaking to me?
Mhm.
What actions can I take? And go ahead and get pen and paper and write down
Yeah.
the actions that you want to take, because if you just read it and put it down, it's like anything, it's like not worth your time. But read it and invest in your time. When
Yeah.
you invest in your time, you will benefit. When you just pass by, your window shopping, right? Can you wear the clothes when you window shop?
No.
You
I can
actually have to,
imagine and dream.
that's about it.
Yeah.
But go in the store, try it on, feel it, walk around in it. And if it suits you correctly, use it.
Yeah. Yeah. We only have 6 issues a year. And some people are wondering, well, why don't you just put out an issue every month? And it's because we want real quality in the magazine. We want to make sure that we are giving you what you need to continue in your business and in your life to grow, um, to achieve those dreams that you have. And I love that there are so many people in it that are contributing an article here, an article there, or even an advertisement here or there. And it just makes it so much more value that we can give to the readers that they can have. Um, and that's what I think is really important is what are the readers getting out of it? Because we can put out this amazing magazine, but if the readers don't feel they're getting any value from it, they're not able to highlight areas, and the print one, I take mine and boy, I highlight them, I put sticky notes on it, I pins, dog ear the corners, things like that, and the ones with the e-print, you can take notes on your phone or however you're reading it, highlight things that way. Um, I think it's important to really find something that you can digest. And because it's different each time, you're going to have something different that's in there. I love now that we have the podcast that goes with a magazine because now those will make great articles, and I'm not sure if we're going to put everything, we won't put everything from the podcast in the article. So you can go see the podcast, but you'll know if that's something that you're interested in, if it resonates with you, if you want to find out more about it because we want it to be ongoing. We want it to really um, give you what you really do need to succeed. And with great columnists like Sifu, and we have Albert, he came on and talked about what he was doing. Um, and we have Kimberly Inez Mays, who works with the tech, and then there's a few more that are there. I thank you, Sifu, for saying yes to this. I thank you for saying yes for coming on the show and explaining to our listeners, our viewers, our readers what the magazine is about and what your role in it is. And so, do you have any final closing thoughts for us?
Well, you're doing great work, Ellis. And one of the things that we should always aspire is to follow those people who are doing great things, but also to not forget us, to make our light brighter, we need to keep that lens clean, because the more we go out into the world, the dirtier it becomes. But we have to remember to clean it on a regular basis.
Yeah.
What I mean by that cleaning it is reading. Reading is fun and it's mental. So therefore it is fundamental. And we need to read more often. We need to read content that's going to inspire us and therefore trigger something in us. When you read something, at first you might go, oh, that's interesting, but then reread it. And what I always tell people is, if you're an author or a writer, give people something that they want to read more than once.
Yeah.
There's several books that I've read many, many times. And the reason is because my stage in life changed
Mhm.
and I'm reading it from a different perspective. So hold
Absolutely.
on to those words. You know, as a communication expert, for me, words mean so much. They think of the compass that you're walking around with, and your words are your tools to be able to have a more effective communication with either one person or many people.
Yeah. Thinking about a book, when I first went to college right out of high school, we had a list of books to choose from. They recommended we choose five. And I thought, okay, because I really did love to read back then. And one of them, the one I can think of the most, and I'm not sure why this one comes to mind, but it was called As a Man Thinketh.
Mm.
And it was a very narrow book. There wasn't a whole lot to it. I read it. I couldn't even get through the first chapter. I had no idea what they were talking about. I didn't have any concept of how all of this worked. And so it was one of those books that I think I did read it, but I couldn't have told you one thing that it was about because I didn't understand it. In my journey in life, I wasn't at a point that I could comprehend what it was truly saying. Um, a few years back, I saw the book again and it's like, oh, I forgot about this book. There's not much to it. Maybe I'll read it again. Well, this time when I was reading it, it's like, I get it. I understand now what he's talking about. And it was interesting to me. It's like, wow, why couldn't I figure it out when I first was reading it? And then, we understand the process of as we go through life, we gain more wisdom and knowledge and understanding. And it was interesting that I understood that. I really think maybe I should read it again because it's been a few years and I have learned so much these last couple of years. It's like, I would like to read it again just to see what else I can get out of it.
Oh, there's plenty to get out of that. That's a great book, by the way.
Yeah.
And when you can consider reading a book that's worthwhile. So for me, all the books that I have several different bookshelves. One of my bookshelves I had to build. I also own a wood shop. I built a wood
Nice.
a shell, actually a bookshelf, just for books from authors that have been on my shows.
Nice.
Because if somebody sends me a book, they took the effort not only one to write it, two to sign it and send it to me. That's huge. So I need to honor them and read their books. Right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's why I had to build, because I have so many. I'm so delighted and grateful to every one of them.
That is amazing. I know the few books that I have, and I notice I keep getting more, and it's wonderful that people have written and have sent to me who have signed it, put a special message in some of them, and it's like a real treasure. I remember my when my grandfather passed away, they had a book there by Grace Livingston Hill. And I didn't realize that my grandfather was a man who read books. I'd never seen him read. But the time when we were there, because we didn't live close to him, it was quite a journey to get there. And the time that we were there, he took the time to spend with us. And when I heard that, when I was told that he loved this author, Grace Livingston Hill, and I found another book by her, and I read them, and I thought, wow, this is amazing. Yes, I can see why my grandfather would like this book because of his personality. And yeah, there's another one I think I might read again just to spend some time with Grandpa. That
See, I
amazing
love what you
grandfathers.
just I love what you just said, that you were able to connect with grandpa.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. I think that's why it's hard for me as I'm unpacking our boxes from our move. And after 6.5 years, I finally get to unpack,
Mhm.
and the connections that are there, it makes it difficult to separate the emotion from the item, and if it still serves us, because there's things that were my grandkids, and when we left, they were still little, and now they're starting to graduate from high school, and
Mm,
it's like, well, they don't want them. They
right.
don't need them. Do I need to hang on to it for them later in life because they might want it? And it's like, usually it's no.
Mm,
But one thing, and I'll say it here, for someone who might be experiencing something similar, is there are a few things that I did want my grandkids to have, like something from my parents or my great grandparents. So, and I don't recommend Ziploc bags. It was all I had this week. Um, but get some kind of an archival bag, something
mm.
to really help protect it. And then I wrote on a piece of paper who the grandchild was. I put their name to them, and I wrote them a little letter. And I said, this belonged to, this is the memory I have with it. And this is why I want you to have it. And
That's
then
nice.
I put, I love you, Mima, because that's what they call me. And then when they have it, because they're not going to get these until I'm not in this earth anymore, on this earth. I don't know, I might be in it, but
You're gonna be in it
uh,
if you're getting buried.
yeah, that's right. Even if I'm in the ocean, it's gonna go one way or the other. But so they understand why I think it was important for them to have it. And so that they can get that connection with it. They can hear the stories with it. Because even if I tell them the stories now, in 20 years, they may not remember what the story was. I may not remember what the story was. So I write it down now. And it's nice. I have these steamer trunks, and so I have one for each child of our children, and then I'll put the grandkids' items in each of those trunks for them. So if there's, when it's time and they have to go sorting through things, they know that the stuff that isn't in the trunks, they don't have to worry about, and unless there's something they really want, it's okay to
Yes.
let it go. And that's part of this too, is learning it's okay to let it go. But not the magazine. We want you to hang on to that.
That's it. That one you hold on to, and that one is it's gonna be for generations to come that can read it also.
Yeah,
Because I
yeah,
believe some of the key elements is that a lot of the information that's being put on there is transformative.
mm,
It's valuable, not only current, but 10, 20 years from now.
yeah, yeah. And by you taking it, ingesting it, so to speak, really reading it and applying it in your life and in your business, now you're passing that on to someone else, and they keep passing it on. So thank you, Sifu, for being here. I really enjoy you every time.
Yeah, thank you.
It's always a great conversation with you. And thank you, our audience, for being here. We truly hope you've enjoyed this episode of Wisdom on the Front Porch, explaining more about the columnists like Sifu and the articles and what's inside there for you. And we'll see you next time on Wisdom on the Front Porch.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, Sifu. I
Yeah.
appreciate this. I didn't ask you last time. I'm not sure why I didn't. But who was your fiance?
Melanie.
Melanie?
Yeah.
Pretty name.
We got engaged
Melanie.
in December.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Do you have a wedding date set?
Her mom is not doing well, so she
Oh,
doesn't want to set anything up in case her mom passes. She
right,
doesn't want to be
right.
away from her mom
Yeah.
because we are probably going to get married in Las Vegas, and that's
Oh,
nowhere near
nice.
home. So we want to do
Yeah,
a location wedding, but that's not near her mom. So
yeah,
we're
yeah.
waiting for, when the time is right. I'm patient. I'm a patient person.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. And it's great that you're giving her this time to be with her mom and not putting pressure on her or anything. But I don't ever see you doing that to anybody.
No, I'm pretty easygoing.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I'm so happy for both of you. I truly
Thank
am.
you.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
So thank you again for being here. And yeah, if you have any books, I've got the book podcast to do too. And anything I can do to help you with your podcast, with your business, anything at all, let me know because
Absolutely.
I'll introduce Laura to you probably on Facebook Messenger. Is that a good place?
Yeah, yeah, that's perfect. Also, I mean,
Okay.
listen, we're having the event in November. I don't know if that's something that you may be interested in coming to. Uh, did you know
Is it
about
in
that?
person?
In-person event.
Yeah, I probably can't because we're gonna go to New Mexico
Oh, that's right.
with
We
our
did
our
talk. We did
children.
talk. We did talk.
Yeah, we were thinking about Christmas, but Christmas is in the middle of the week and he just can't get the time off from work. So we're trying to save up to go there because that's a long drive. It's
You
it's
guys are
12 and a
actually
half
driving?
hours there. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah. We enjoy the drive. We'll probably drive at night.
Yeah, I
But
got you.
now we've got this big guard on the front. Last time, well, when he went himself, he gets almost to the New Mexico border, and this big mule deer just jumps right in front of him,
Oh my God.
mushes in one side of the front of the truck. He was able to drive it. It was okay. Didn't get hurt of it. Now he's got this big animal guard on it. Well, there's a lot of cattle that are out on the road and stuff too. And if they decide to go walking across at night, or an elk, which is as big as the cattle, there's no hope for your vehicle. So it's like, sorry.
Right. No, you got to protect yourself.
That's
Absolutely.
right. That's right. All right. We'll talk
All
with you
right.
later, Seafood.
All right. Thanks a lot. Have a great day.
Thank you too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us today on Wisdom on the Front Porch with your host, Ellis Kirkpatrick. You can find us on our website, wisdomonthefrontporch.com, see previous episodes of the podcast, and view issues of the magazine. Did you know you can submit questions, leave reviews, or suggest topics? You can also tell us where your favorite front porch location is and what it means to you. We hope you gain value and insight from today's or previous talks. We appreciate your support for us so we can continue to provide value and expertise to you and others. Subscribe to Wisdom on the Front Porch magazine and join in next week when we bring you another great insight into the world of entrepreneur culture and lifestyle. Make today a great day. Always believe that something wonderful is going to happen.